All right, welcome. We're back here with Battles in the East, aggregation stop scenario. Now I'm going to finish my initial setup here using the setup rules. Got the errata and squared away who's in attack supply and who's not for the Russians. Um, and basically it divides up by armies. Looking at the Germans here, mark the victory point hexes, but I think this is an instant sudden death. Yeah, here's Radom, or this one, or all of Warsaw. And this one looks doable. They don't have a lot of strength down here, so not quite sure what to do. Anyway, based on the setup, got everybody right next to the river as much as possible so that we have that you can't move across the river if a unit's adjacent or it's a zone of control. Unfortunately, this one, by the setup rules, Germans couldn't get close enough to seal off. So potentially this can be a breakthrough point here. Um, Let's see, up here they just tried to block the crossings. Got Warsaw here. And luckily these victory point hexes are occupied, these crossing points. So hopefully it slows down the second tank army. And then these are pretty much set. The Germans, one of the goals was to try and keep that DCI and the anti-tank. So units of the same division, they want them adjacent. And that's way both can take advantage of the anti-tank um, benefit. So there's there's a German. Sorry, whenever I start talking, I start coughing. I think it's psychosomatic. So then the Russians set up. They're pretty much within one. I did spread out the second tank army, kept them in their. I think these are divisions. Kept them together because these units aren't very strong on the defensive. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to keep them together. And the Soviets move first. We got the Poles here. This one I was pretty much allowed to spread out somewhat too. You'll see some like the 8th Guard 3, that's these guys. I think within 3 of here, so I spread them out as much as possible. First Polish is within 1, that's why they're concentrated. Second tank is within 3, so they're a bit spread out. 47th is somewhere along the way. So in the first turn, the Soviets placed them, it looks like 3 whole armies coming in on the board. These 3 are in general supply. But this is an attack, this is an attack, the Poles are not, this is an attack, and this is an attack. So just looking at this general strategy, this is where the German strength is. If there's some way the Russians can interpose themselves and prevent these units from getting back here to the main defense line and turning it into kind of a set piece on the river line, then that would be a good strategy. So these units coming in, I think they're going to just try and move and pin as much as possible. I believe these units can get around behind here, and then these guys can move up through here. Not really going to use them to attack because then they'll be counterattacked by these guys coming back this way. So I think it's going to be more kind of blocking them here. But with that said, if we look at the sequence of play, just to make sure we're following the rules here. Yeah, the Russians do have 1 air support that they can use for combat. The weather reinforcements are on their entry hexes. Check for supply. Everybody's pretty much in supply at the beginning. And then it's the initial movement for the Russians. And then combat, mech move. And then we're not doing air interdiction. So then it'll be the Germans' turn. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and do the Soviet move here. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and the Soviets have moved. Um, let's go ahead and zoom in down here. And yeah, they're allowed to set up here. So I did set up one unit here. With these units here, they can't move, so they're pretty much pinned here. And then the rest of the units come this way and maneuver. So basically, these guys are going to attack here. These guys are going to attack here. This will be educational on how the combat system works. I don't know if they have overwhelming strength or they're going to fail. And then the same thing here. These guys are going to attack here, breach the river. These guys attack here. The good thing is this area not covered, I was able to take advantage of. So I brought two of the units here from 8th Guard, which then enabled the Poles to cross. Now, a unit in general supply will attack it. The army can have one attack of their units, and they're halved. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at the Poles here. So the strategy here is just brute force. We got 1, 2. This one doesn't get. I've got to wait until turn 4, so that's more a screening the Poles. But these two armies are going to put pressure on getting here. That's the only victory point down here. So, and then 39th Panzer Corps can't move in the first turn, so Armin Goring won't be coming down here. Let's come back over here. And then these armies are allowed one attack, so I think I built up here, and each of them had kind of token motorized units, so I'm trying to put them in a position that if the combat's good, they can exploit. So here's the one attack for this army. Meanwhile, the rest are just going to pin with Zoc. Here's the attack with this army. And notice here's their motorized units. Don't know if they can. They're only going to be able to move 1/4 because they're in general supply. I think that's 2 or 1, which isn't really awesome. But the real action, and then I've got an attack down here, just trying to pin as many units as possible. But the concerns are these German Panzer Grenadiers behind the lines here. And what at least I've been able to do is, like this motorized unit was part of here, although they got a big attack here, but this guy's going to be able to, in the mech move, pin this guy. That's a nice one. And then the second guards, the tank army, they're not really going to attack in Humera. I'm going to use them to, we're not going to get across this river, so I'm going to use them to pin these guys and these guys. So first few turns, I think the whole focus here is to damage as much as possible. This is 2nd Army here, and potentially 4th SS. I think that guy's down here. Yeah, by getting behind them and slowing them down. So that by turn 4, hopefully we can put some people in supply. One of these two armies to continue moving here. But the goal is got to get across here. But at least initially that's going to be secondary while we try and do as much damage as possible to 2nd Army and 4th SS so they aren't strong enough to help with the defense along the river line here. And this is where it's at. There's even some back here, but if you can take these 3 and then get the victory points +1 for every 2 Soviet-controlled hexes west of the Vistula, that's the victory. And there's 10 turns. And if I look at real quick, okay, let's see. Yeah, we got the 70th coming in here. And the Germans have a sprinkling of reinforcements. So we'll see. So that's the strategy. Big push here, 2 armies, Poles covering the flank. They can seal the road and keep Hermann Goring up here. That would be awesome. So they're going to duke it out here. They're going to be stretched though, and then the second tank is going to be trying to disrupt the retreat of the 2nd Army and 4th SS, while at least this unit's in attack supply will try and cause damage in these guys as much as possible. So that would be phase 1. Phase 2 of the game then would be going for these hexes, unless there's success here. I mean, if you take this, it's a sudden death victory. So anyway, yeah, let's do this, and then when I come back here, I'll do a recording, and we are going to go through the combat rules here. So where are we at? We're at 10 minutes here. So let me go. I'll pull up the combat rules here in a second. Let me refresh my memory, and let's go through a few of these. Be right back. All right, let's try this one right here. Got a German cavalry brigade in the woods. Interesting unit to have here. And we have the Russians coming in here, but problem is they're in general supply, so their attack strength is 1/2. So we're going to go through here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's see, this, well, this is overstacked, so we're going to put one of these back here. Didn't notice that. These are 2 REs, so we can only do 2 of them. 6 and 10 is 13. So we got 13, and then we round it to 6. Yeah, I think it's rounded down. And these guys have 2, so we have a 3-to-1. But if we look at the offensive, when you look at the chart, here we go. They're in woods. So let's see, 3-to-1. Woods are a 1L. Okay, there is no DCI, so that's all the Germans get. 3-to-1 takes it down to 2-to-1, but let's see. Multiply army out, 2-to-1, but they get a 1R for an armor. Well, actually they're going to have their, I think that's what happens here. HQ's leaders and column support shifts. Let's go back up here to let's get this right. You're in general supply. Attack strength is 1/2, 1 per HQ. Full, 1/2. All applicable shifts are totaled and rounded down. Okay, so they do have 6, but they also have I believe they have 2R. Let's see. Got 1R for an armor unit. It's not concentric. I'm not going to use the air support. They could use their HQ, which they will. Let's see, that 0R. Well, not really. 1R, so that didn't help. So we still got 1R. And I think we'll get 1R for DCI. Let me check that. Let's see, we got a Soviet 1R. So 2R, but that's halved down to 1R. And then the Germans get 1L, so it's still a 3-to-1. All right, so we got a 3-to-1. Let's see, I'll against my better idea, I'll roll with this dice roller. I'm not a big friend of this one. 5. Okay, step loss, defender, 1. Let's see if this guy has a flip side. He does. Or he can just retreat. Step effectively lose steps or retreat. And, oh, this guy, hold on. Yeah, he just retreats 1 hex this way. And then I think these guys will move up. Okay, that wasn't very exciting, but okay, so yeah, you can just keep retreating instead of taking losses. Next attack is here. And let's see, there's a headquarters. 0R. He doesn't give anything when they're in general supply. So this looks, well, this will be different because they're not. Oh, but they got the anti-tank. So it may be this. Oh, I did it again. Dang it. Hold on. Cheater. Let's see. 2, 5, 6. 6 and 7 is 13 again. 6, 3 to 1. Wow, same thing. So, but there's no defender shift. So it's going to go to 4 to 1. Okay. So they're in clear terrain. No, wait. No, it's not. There's a shift right there. Oh, the Germans get 2 shifts. Wow. Okay, let's see if we can do this right here. Offensive display. German infantry on defense 1L. So they're going to get 1L, and there's armor involved. They're going to get 1L for DCI and 1L for anti-tank. Yeah, I think that's what that means here. Yep, blue strength. So we can add it together. So the Germans get 2L, and it's going to be a 2 to 1. The Germans get 2L for DCI plus, these are adjacent. I'm attacking with armor. So that applies. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked with armor with that lesson there. And the Russians get DCI, 1L, 1R, and 1R for tank, but that goes down to 1. So actually it's going to be 2 to 1. I think I did that right. All right, let's see what happens. 2 to 1 on 2. The attackers lose 1. If all of them retreat, this is not working out so good here. I don't know if I want to lose a step this early. I'm not using heavy, but if I retreat, they all have to retreat here. And I don't know if I want to do that. So, okay, they've got enough. This may be a bad decision, but let's go ahead and lose a step there. Okay. Okay, that's so much for these attacks here. Haven't done much damage. Let's see, we got one more down here. Yeah, we'll let it go. This guy's part of the 102nd. They're pretty big. So he's going to get DCI, and there's the anti-tank unit. So it's going to be about the same. 6, 11. Okay, 2 and 2 is 4, 5, 6, 11. But you're half down to 5, which is 2 to 1. And then you're going to be shifted 1 to 1 to 1. I'm going to pass on that attack. All right, let's come down to this guy. Now these guys are in attack supply. 5th Jaeger, though, they've got DCI. He's hitting, let's see. So we got 6. And 6 is 12. 12 and 8 is 20. And he is in attack supply. So that's a real 20. It's not concentric. We can't do that. 20. But we do have, let's see what we got. We got 2 shift here. Okay, so we got 1 right for DCI, 4th Guards, 2 Guard Cavalry. Yep, GCC. And we got 1 for the armor. And they've got, well, it doesn't matter, but they've got 1 for DCI and 1 for anti-tank, so the shifts cancel out. But like I said, we've got 20 here. And they got 2. That's a 10 to 1. That is a 10 to 1, so let's see what we get with that. And that's an E. So we do eliminated. Let's make sure all affected units from that side are eliminated, removed from the map. Mech units first into the defender's hex and then may advance into an empty adjacent hex. Yeah, of course. So we'll send him to eliminated. And let's see what we can do here. So now these guys, see, here's a problem. Oh, they can go 1 more hex. But either way, they're going to end up in a zone of control. And they will still be able to move. I think we can surround these guys if that's what we want to do. Let's do this. We'll go here. Now, if we go here, we're pinning that guy. But if we go here, we're pinning. So we're going to go here. And I think I'm allowed to advance. I think what I'm going to do is advance this guy here. I can advance both these guys here. Okay, so we're turning the German flank here. That's exactly what we're doing because these guys are in the mech move. We're going to come around here. We're going to trap this guy. He won't be able to move Zoc to Zoc. Perfect. Okay. So these attacks didn't do too well here, but this did correct. Anybody who knows the rules, correct me if I did it wrong. Let's see what happens down here. I'm going to do these first because these are straightforward. Let's pull up the charts. Oops, I had them. So if we're attacking across a major river, 3L. Printed road negates river hexite MP cost me number. Okay, what I have to look up is if one of the units is on 3L. 3L. I don't even know if I want to do these attacks. Hold on. Okay, they are an attack supply, so we got 8, 14. We got 7 to 1. There's no DC. Yeah, there's no DCI with this guy. So it goes down to 4 to 1. So we have a 4 to 1 here. I did that right. No, right? No shifts. Well, we got the 3L shift for the river, and that's the only one that applies. 6 and 8 is 14 is 7 to 1. Down 3 is 4 to 1. And let's see what happens. 4 to 1. Survey says, gee, Manetti. Engaged. Nothing happens. They just sit there. Great. All right. That doesn't help because no tanks are attacking. So we got 7 and 6 is 13 to 3. Oh, that extra one helped. 13 to 3 is 4 to 1. And you take it down 3. 3 to 1, 2 to 1, 1 to 1. I don't know. I'm not. Let's see if I can do any better here. I'm not. It's kind of well, we got to do the attack. Let's just do it. Roll the dice. We're Soviets. We just attack. Nice. Okay, so we got both lose 1. Now, if both lose, the attacker takes losses or retreats first. Retreat attack's not an EZOC, and the defender result. His units. Okay. If the attacker takes a step loss, his units remain. If the defender vacates the hack, it may advance. So they're going to have to take a step loss. I wonder if this guy can. Yeah, he can. That guy can't. And the Sovs, let's do this guy. He's going to take a stop. Okay. Okay, so this was an engaged. And this one, the German line's held right here. So let's come down to here. 6, 12. That's a 6 to 1, which goes down to a 3 to 1, which goes down to a 2 to 1 for DCI. Nothing here, so it's a 2 to 1. Oh, 1 step loss. You are not impressed. Stalin is not impressed here. Okay, so this whole line here held. I gotta think about that. Now, the only thing I want to ask here is if I've got 1 unit on the side of the river line, did I lose the shift, which will directly influence this attack and potentially this one, although these guys are going to be half because the poles are in general supply. But they can combine with the 74th, and that's an armor unit. I don't know if that gives anything on the defense. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't give anything on. Applies only for armor mech, attacking non. Yep. So let me check the river rules real quick.